For the first time since I was a kid, I have now been on a journey rewatching the South Park seasons, and man, I forgot how great some of these episodes were. I started off with I can't remember if it was 6 or 7, but regardless, season 7 we just broke down, it was phenomenal, and I forgot about the gold that was in South Park season 8. So we're going to be breaking down these episodes as much as we can. I'm going to be talking about what I liked, what I didn't like. I'm sure with South Park, there's some things that we're not going to be allowed to talk about on YouTube, but we're going to break it all down for you today. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels. So we start off with a banger of an episode, and when I started watching this episode, I immediately remembered the anime episode, and I was like, oh my god, I completely forgot about this. I completely forgot about it. So they were having a great time, and what's funny is the first time around when I watched this, I didn't really like it. I understood, like, it's fun. They're kids. They're role-playing. They got their weapons. They used the my mom's dead joke, and then they ended up getting some weapons. I get the fun to be had with that episode, but I particularly, like, I wasn't all that interested until all of a sudden they're doing their role-play, and it's funny because something that I loved about South Park is it really did a good job, and of course it over-exaggerates to the maximum extent like what we saw in this episode, but it does a good job actually, like, going through a lot of things that we did as children, because I remember, like, role-playing and imagining when I was kids, when we were kids playing with weapons with my brother and my friends, we all had our shields and we all had, like, these these powers that we were making up. It's like, no, actually, I'm actually resistant to your arrow because of my, super arrow shields that I put on. Now watching this as an adult, I have a new appreciation for it because it reminds me of being a kid, if that makes sense. But anyways, in classic South Park style, they over-exaggerate it to the maximum, and all of a sudden Kenny just uses his ninja star that he bought. And then I love the way they did it because they're in this, like, action anime thing, and then it's just, he throws a ninja star, and then it just cuts to Butters with the actual ninja star in his eye. Anything unfortunate happening to Butters is great, okay? So he's screaming, he's crying, but the biggest worry isn't Butters and his well-being. It's, oh my god, our parents are gonna kill us. Even Kyle got back into it. Dude, my mom is gonna kill. You're not gonna understand what my mom's gonna do to me if she found out that I had weapons and I was lying to her. All of that was great. Them bringing him to the vet, everybody ignoring Butters. When Cartman was getting naked too, like, this episode, they kicked off season 8 where, like, they went hard with it, and I loved it, man. Now, unfortunately, guys, for these next 2 episodes, we have the Mel Gibson episode and we have the Special Olympics episode. I just want to say that YouTube, I am very, very grateful to be on this platform, and I would never in a million years laugh at such a thing. These episodes were awful. One of those episodes in particular is definitely not one of the best episodes in South Park history. Quite frankly, I'm making this review to showcase how bad South Park is, okay? But as we continue on, we get into the entire dance episode, and honestly, while I did love a lot of this season, guys, I hated this episode. I was not interested. I wasn't interested the first time I watched it when I was a kid, and I was not interested in it at all rewatching it. The whole you got served thing, I get that it was a thing of the past, and I doubt anybody nowadays still says you got served. I just didn't care for it at all. There was not one part of that episode that really made me laugh, to be honest, but it picks back up, because then we get back into awesom-o. And I love some of my favorite episodes, and something that I spoke about in previous videos is one of my favorite things is Cartman trolling Butters, is the relationship and the dynamic that Cartman and Butters have. So Cartman dresses up as this robot from Japan, awesom-o, and Butters gets convinced that it's his new best friend, but the parents are going into it because it's like, oh my god, they're playing robot, that's so cute. Eric really gets into the character, and then Eric just gets tortured more and more and more because Butters was opening up to him about this kid. Like, I love it because Butters is talking to awesom-o, going like, yeah, there's this kid that always picks on me. Yeah, his name's Eric, and then he's not gonna get me again. He's not gonna get me again. And Eric's like, really? Really? Like, Eric's laugh kills me. Like, Cartman, there are very few characters that make me laugh as much as Eric Cartman does, especially in previous South Park seasons like this, before they even got into, like, just taking care of anything modern. Like, South Park here, while I love South Park as it is now, even the brand new season has been making me laugh. This is like the peak era of South Park. I love it all. So Cartman didn't get to troll Butters because Butters had a video of Eric pole dancing with, I don't remember what, it was like Britney Spears or something like that, some pop star, and he wanted to pretend to be somebody. But we go through the entire episode, Eric is just getting tortured more and more and more because Butters wants to be his best friend. Like, My robot friend. And Eric's just suffering and sweating the entire time. Love it. Phenomenal. For the following episode about Michael Jackson, Michael Jefferson, I should say, there's not a ton that I want to break down about here. Like, it was entertaining enough. Not my favorite episode. I understand the jokes. It was all pretty funny. And, like, you have Kyle at the end, like, worrying for the man's son. I understand all of that. It's just, like, wasn't one of my favorite episodes. And we, unfortunately, cannot talk about the other episode when all of the people from the future come around. But what we can talk about is the douche and the turd, okay? This one's just clever. South Park is pretty good when they dive into politics. And I kind of find myself... I'm not to get into that entire world, but I have been beat down by society. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a happy guy, but I mean, like, my hope for a happy society has just been, like, beat completely out of me to the point where I'm like, is there really a point to all of this? Is there even a point to the people that we elect nowadays? I'm coming from a person from Canada, right? So there's even less hope than a lot of the world. So I enjoy that episode when they dive into it. Stan just doesn't care, and then they get into the whole thing where it's like, okay, fine, if you really want me to vote, I'll go vote. And then Kyle gets mad at him because, like, dude, well, why are you voting for that one? I like it. It was just a good episode. There's not exactly a ton to break down there. There's also an episode about Walmart where, again, it was just okay. The problem with this season is, like, it had some really, 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 really high highs, and it had some highs that we're not allowed to discuss on YouTube. And then it had some episodes that were just okay. And then, like, I think the only episode that I did not care for was the episode where you got served. So there's just some episodes that I can't really break down, unfortunately. But the Walmart one, Walmart comes in, people are shopping. It's one of those, just like with Douche and Turd, they were just diving into society a little bit. And I did appreciate that humor. We also, another episode that I completely forgot about is the preschool episode. The kids are going about their day at school. It's all going great. And then we hear this news about this kid named Trent Boyette who's been getting out of juvenile hall. Now, of course, we know that because they're worried about something. Trent Boyette is probably pissed off at him, and it doesn't really take a genius to figure out that it was the boys, which I thought it was going to be Eric. I remember it very clearly thinking that it was just going to be Eric back in the day that ended up getting this kid in trouble. But anyways, we go back. The kids are playing fireman. Trent Boyette's like this. I guess you could call him yeah, he was a bad kid in preschool. What am I talking about? But he was baited because the boys were playing fireman. They were peeing on a bunch of stuff. And they're like, Trent Boyette, you know how to start a fire. Why don't you start a fire? So he did. The kids pissed on it. Didn't work out. He burnt his teacher. He burnt the school. And then they all just threw him in jail. But they didn't care because they're like, hey, Trent Boyette is a liar. We were not up to this at all. And they didn't even care because, like, dude, he's going to get out of juvie 5 years from now. 5 years from now comes about. Trent Boyette's back. He's beating up a bunch of kids. Then you have the entire side storyline about them wanting to get the 6th graders to defend them. And all they want is a picture of Stan's mom's tits. The way they went about that was hilarious. And again, does a good job capturing what we all, like, experienced about being kids, right? All of those, like, same kind of problems. It was just really great. But again, like, with Trent Boyette being this kid who's sending all the older kids to the hospital, over-exaggerating as South Park does, I love the school-based episodes like this. I love when they're just kind of going about, and then the same kind of thing happens. And I wish that we could have gotten another episode about this, because they forgot about the teacher too. Whenever her battery in the wheelchair ran out, and everybody's like, oh, fine, okay, poor me. And nobody's helping her, thinking that she's being rude. Gets lit on fire again. And then Trent Boyette, everybody blames, like, oh, you just had to finish the job, Trent Boyette, eh? No, they did it. And then Cartman does the exact same thing. Trent Boyette is a liar. Then they do the same thing, like, who cares? That's like 5 years from now he's going to get out of juvie. That was a phenomenal episode. That might be my favorite episode of... No, the last one might be... I don't know, man. There was a lot of really, really good highs over here, okay? We also have the news reporting episode, which... There's not a ton to break down about that one. It was just pretty fun. The kids are starting a news broadcast. They had like 7 people watching, and that was the best thing in the world. They kind of understand how they kind of understand like what it takes, and you have to fabricate stories. You have to make up lies in the media in order to get views. You need to start drama, and I like the way they ended up going about it. It was pretty fun, to be honest with you. Then we get into the Paris Hilton episode where Butter's parents end up selling him to Paris Hilton for all of this money. All of these little... and that it just made me sad more than anything this episode, because I understand that this is something that I'm going to have to deal with. I have a daughter who is a year and a half right now, and I'm going to have to deal with her, like, because It's ridiculous how young these girls are getting into, like, particular behaviors now and the people that they're looking up to. South Park, while they exaggerated it where it's like, oh my god, we're going to have our stupid spoiled W parties, in the play set. We're not far off from that at all. We're not far off from that. It just, while I did laugh at it, it's like the first time that throughout this entire season or my entire journey watching something made me sad, because I'm kind of like, yeah, this is what I'm going to have to shield my daughter from one day, because there is no way that there's going to, and I know it's going to sound egotistical, I'm sorry, but there's no way that there's going to be parents as caring as I am, and all it's going to take is for her to make friends with the wrong group of girls, and then what the hell am I supposed to do then? I just have to be the most involved dad on the entirety of planet Earth. So it made me worry. Thanks, South Park. Thanks, Paris Hilton. But it was already a worry of mine, to be honest with you, okay? We then have the other episode where Cartman, and it starts off great, where Cartman wants to fly, but of course he's too fat to fly. I mean, not that he could fly anyways. Just falls out his window, and then all of a sudden, he becomes psychic, and he's just blaming people. He's just thinking of food. He's like, chicken, 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 chicken. And they figure out that it's like KFC guy, but it had nothing to do with the murder, but the murderer was kind of like just hanging around. That was a great episode too. But I know that throughout these South Park reviews, I have been saying that I hate watching Christmas episodes. I am very, very into the Christmas spirit, but I'm making this review in September. I don't want to watch a Christmas episode. I'm not in the Christmas spirit, and I did not like watching the previous 2 Christmas episodes. I forgot how funny this episode was. When this episode first started playing, I was like, how could I have forgotten about this episode? Oh my god, the Woodland Critter Christmas thing where, man, it's all this like happy, yay, like Christmas special where Stan's helping people out, and then there's the narrator that's making him do stuff throughout the entire thing. Then all of a sudden, they start having blood orgies. They're giving birth. I don't remember. Yeah, it was the Antichrist that they were giving birth to. Like, it just turned it into the most messed up thing in the entirety of South Park. One of South Park's most messed up episodes they've ever done in the entirety of the show, man. And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse, to the point where, like, you have these little cubs, like, learning how to perform abortions, and that's how they end up saving the day. And all of us were relatively confused throughout this entire thing, and and Kyle coming at the end was just the best part about it, where Kyle was evil. That entire episode was some of South Park's best work, okay? With just how messed up it continued getting. And at the end, of course, I don't know if anybody else picked up on it, but I remember like, oh, of course, it's just Cartman telling a story. But the students wanted to continue learning, but Kyle was telling Cartman to stop. And he's like, don't worry, Kyle, I will not kill you. And it just made him to be like the most evil person of all. He wants to destroy Christmas. Stan was kind of like the good guy, or like said the boy in the poof ball hat. Man, South Park did great with that episode. The Woodland Critters Christmas might be one of my favorite South Park Christmas episodes, but I'd have to sit back and think. I don't remember all the rest of the Christmas episodes. We'll talk about them as they go, but hey, maybe because it's September now, I personally get into the Christmas spirit on November 1st. We have our Thanksgiving over here in Canada pretty early, so once November 1st hits, my wife, this is what I love about my wife, man. I go, like, she waits until, well, last year it ended up working out perfectly on November 1st because there were some fights and I watched it in my parents' house. So I leave, and by the time I come back, the entire house is transformed into Christmas. And by the time I end up doing these reviews again, maybe I'll be happy to watch a Christmas episode. I'll have a little bit more positive things to say. But if you want to watch a little bit more of South Park talk, why don't you check out our Season 7 review right here? I'd love to have you over there. Thank you very, very much for watching, guys. Take care, everybody.